So as of now, today the date is 7th April 2024. So as of now, I have studied about 15 rules. These 15 rules are very important rules in harmonizing any given melody in four-part voicing style, that is SATB writing. So this, by following these 15 rules, it's equivalent to studying any of the important harmony books, maybe first year harmony by Lovelock or many other harmony books. So these 15 rules are very vital rules which you have to follow. The first and foremost rule is what I have written. I have written it in my own way. This video I am making just for my own reference. If I want to do proper animated video or some kind of well represented video in future, just this for reference, the point I came across. The very important 15 rules, in which the first one is do not cross voices between SATB. Every voices, soprano, alto, tenor, bass has got their own ranges. While harmonizing from one chord voices to another chord, you're not supposed to voice cross. So this is the first rule. Voice crossing means, see here, this is soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So when you're moving from one voice to another voice, for example, this is soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So this tenor voice is C here. In the next note, it should not cross the the next note. It should not cross the voices. It should be in their own ranges. Okay, it should not voice cross. The alto tenor should not meet. It should not go down the tenor. It should not come up the alto. So that is the first rule. I'll practically show this in future videos. This is the first and foremost thing. The second rule is distance between soprano, alto, tenor. The distance between soprano, alto and soprano, soprano, alto and alto, tenor. Soprano, alto and alto, tenor. Soprano, alto and alto, tenor should not be more than an octave, but between tenor and bass it can be more than an octave. Okay, that is here. The distance between the soprano and the alto, and the alto and the alto and the tenor should not go more than octave. See here I have written. See, this is A. See here it is. So likewise, it should not go more than an octave. That becomes the violation of rules. Okay, and that is the second rule. And the third rule is the movement. Strictly check there is no. This is a very important rule. This is the first and foremost important rule. Strictly check there is no consecutive fifths and octaves between soprano, alto, soprano, tenor, soprano, bass, alto, tenor, alto, bass, and tenor. With these 6 combinations also, you should check that when moving from one chord note to another chord note, you should not be having any consecutive fifths and consecutive octaves. There is one catch. If the chord notes are not moving, and exactly if you're doing the same chord to the next harmony chord, if you're changing the chord but you're not changing any of the note, any of the voicing, it can repeat. But if any one of the chord voice is moving, you should not have parallel fifths and parallel octaves. That's called consecutive octaves and consecutive fifths. That's not only between soprano alto. It should be checked between 6 parameters. That is between soprano alto, soprano tenor, soprano bass, alto tenor, alto bass, and tenor bass. So this is the most important formula which you have to follow while you are harmonizing in 4-part writing. The fourth rule is the movement of the harmony voices to the next harmony voices should be moving in stepwise. Okay, this is very important. Stepwise. Leap that the third and avoid more than this to have a coherent voice. This means I've written it in a wrong English. what it means is the movement of the harmony voices from one note to another note should be a stepwise, or it may be a leap. What do you mean by leap? It is a third. If you're moving from C to C sharp, it's a step. If you're moving from C to D, it's a leap. You're just jumping from one by crossing one note. That is C to D. That is two semitones. So it's not advisable to move more than a step or a leap. If, for example, moving a fourth, moving a fifth, moving a sixth, seventh is all highly damageable for having a coherent voice. In such cases, you can include one point which have that comes in future. Maybe I don't know. I don't remember the point number. That's using the passing notes. If you've come across a situation where you have to jump more than third, like fourth or fifth, just have a passing note. That's a non-chord note. It doesn't becomes a chord note, but the coherentness in the movement, the smoothing will be nice. So passing note should come in that situation, in that critical situation. And also by planning the passing notes well for the melodic line, it adds up to the quality and the depth of the harmony. That is the fourth point. So you can use any chord. No, the fourth point says you can any chord in any inversion. Okay, any chord in any inversion you can use, so that it moves in stepwise. Stepwise. So stepwise movement is very important for that. So the fifth point is also I plan have written. So also you have to plan that the SAT moves maximum in contrary motion to the bass. This is not very strict rule, but it sounds good when you move the soprano, alto, tenor voices in contrary to the bass. You can move it in oblique, you can move it in parallel, you can move it in similar motion in situations, because every melody is different, every harmonizing is different. Every day we come across new kind of the new way of harmonizing. Not new way, it's every day it's a new music. Every day we are harmonizing. We know the same rules, we know the same techniques, but we are doing it in a different mindset for a different melody. So it's not a very strict rule, but if you try to, if there is a situation and you can do it, it sounds great. The contrary motion, SAT should be moving in one direction and the bass should be moving to the other. When you're moving from one chord voice to another chord voice, if you have the contrary motion between SAT to the bass, it sounds good. Okay, but it's not a very strict rule, as I said earlier. And the sixth rule is, if anything of the above rule is getting violated, I try to change the chord between harmony by changing inversion of the chord itself. So I've already told this note. So if any of the fifth rule, this is a very important fifth rule. If any of the rules is getting violated, so it's a high time, it's a high chance to change the chord itself, because for every instance of a melody, for every place of a chord, you can have more than one chord. Okay, so you can add a relative minor or relative major and vice versa for that. That comes in future point also. So if anything of the above rules is getting violated, I try to change of the chords between harmony by changing the inversion or the chord itself. To add this point, the chord which I always substitute is the relative minor in place of relative major and vice versa. See, for example, for instance, there is a situation you have to place F major chord, but some of the above this first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rules is getting violated. Some you're supposed to cross voice, or you're supposed to have a voices which is more than octave, or some these 5 rules is getting violated. So there is a high chance, and there is a very good technique that you have to substitute that same F major chord with D minor. It sounds very good, because F major and D minor are relative. F major is relative major of D minor is relative minor of F major. So both can be used in place of both. So in case of D minor, you can use F major. In case of F major, you can use D minor. So your violation of rules becomes easier. So see, basically what I'm telling, violation means it's not a very strict rule. It's a proven method from many decades, from 15th century, Mozart, Bach, all those great composers have studied these methods, and they have cross checked, they have experimented, and they've got the results. So it is very important to keep these things in mind and harmonize. So it's not that if you are there is 15 point. I'll talk about this when it comes to the 15 point. Okay, let's go to the. So I think this rule is clear now. So the seventh point is, I always try to double the root in root position. This is a very important rule and very good technique. Once you're having a chord in root position, it's always advised and it's always better to double the root rather than any other note. Of course, there is always but, some rule is getting violated, you can double the third. Okay, also fifth for the stability. The eighth rule is, I always avoid doubling the seventh or the leading tone. Okay, when you're having some major chord, C major 7 or C minor 7 or some kind of seventh is there, avoid doubling the seventh. Okay, if there is situation, you can double any other note by having any other rule consideration. Avoid doubling the seventh or the leading tone. This by doing this, you can get a very good harmony. Then the ninth point is, I maximum raise the leading tone in minor keys. Yeah, this is a very important rule. In minor keys, always the leading tone has to be raised. Okay, if it is, for example, in C major, if it is B flat, you have to raise the B flat to B. So that is very important, that you have to raise the seventh note to the major seventh. So if it is B flat, you have to raise it to B. In G major chord, if it is F, you have to raise the F to F sharp. Like this, you have to raise the seventh. That is a very important rule to consider. And the 10th rule, in case of any jumps unavoidable in harmonizing, using the passing notes to make the movement smooth is a very good idea. See, I mentioned this very earlier. When you're voicing the chord, when you're harmonizing, some situation occurs that you have to move a voice to fourth or fifth, which is very big for players. So in such cases, having a passing note is a very good idea. For example, I'll show in this. Let me find any fourths or see here I've used a passing note. See, the chord tone here, it is moving from D to G. So it's moving fourth. I'm telling this note to this note. So here it is a very big leap for the player. So in this case, you can have this passing note. See, have introduced a F here, which is a non-chord tone, and it is acting as a passing note. This is what I am telling in the rule. This is very so that the jump will be avoided, and you are doing it in passing note. The voicing will be very smooth. I'll make 100 examples and show you how to. This is very important and just reference video, just for revising people who have already studied. And I'll make a particular video for each point, how, in what cases. I'll just make a messy situation where this rules get violated, and I just try to resolve it by having this rule in your mind. This 15 rules should be in your mind like anything for having a great harmonizing technique. So that's the 9th point. No, sorry, that's the 10th point. Then going to the 11th point, use the cadences at the end of phrases to have a good punctuation marks. You have got many cadences, plagal cadence. There is 4-to-1, 5-to-1 is called perfect cadence. Usually these two cadences are used mainly, and you can use imperfect and other interpreted cadences, but usually it's advisable to use the perfect cadence and plagal cadence at the end of phrases. See, while the music is going, you should the phrasing marks is very important. You should be able to tell what is the phrase. See, this is one phrase. So in this one phrase, it should end in cadence, like perfect cadence and plagal cadence. It sounds very good while you are doing that. So in a music, you should decide what are all the phrases, and you should if the music is going continuous, there should be some accent. This is some rough melody I am showing. but in future videos I'll show you pakka, it's not just harmonizing. You should harmonize to the accent, and you should harmonize to the accent and the groove of the melody. Every melody will have a groove. Okay, you have to accent it. You have to harmonize to the groove of the melody, where the downbeats is there, where the strong notes is there, and where you have to consider a few notes as a passing note, and you have to avoid harmonizing, and you have to avoid accenting on that less stronger beats, and you have to pressurize, and you should give accentuate on the the main accent of the melody. For example, ta ta ra tara tara tari tira tara ta. This is the melody I randomly came up just now. See, tara tira tira tara tara tira te. Wherever I'm accenting, tara tira tira tara tira tara te. This is where you have to accent it. Of course, you have lots of articulations. You can see one extra thing I'm telling here. You should make use of your articulations. You should know where to use staccato, where to use legato, where to use marcato, where to use the horn rips, where to use the crescendos, where to use diminuendos. All these articulations are there to make your life easy. It should sound dynamically great. Then only your sounds. Of course, when the original musicians play, they add their own. No one can beat live musicians. But when you notate it in a notation software like MuseScore or Sibelius or any, there are Dorico. There are so many. Even if you are programming in Cubase Logic, you should make sure that your music will sound great. You should make sure that it will sound only great if the right articulations and varied articulations are there. If you straight away go on writing in only staccatos, only legatos, it will sound boring. It sounds like a machine playing. When you have a combinations of legato, staccato, crescendos, diminuendos, all this variation along with the formulas which I am teaching, it really comes very close to the real musicians. And of course your score will be ready for it's just like it's making your music good, and it's like preparing this score for the musicians. When you're taking your music to play to the musicians, if you don't have any articulations properly punctuated and all the dynamic markings and all the where the pianissimo should come, where mezzo forte, all those dynamics and tempo markings are not written properly, you can't expect a good symphony to happen. So you should take care while notating only, so that it comes very close to the musician. And when if a very good day comes, if you're recording a very good day comes, means you're notating, whatever you have orchestrated will be played by the orchestra. That is the dream of every orchestrator. Every beginner every beginner orchestrator like me has got a dream. What is a dream? A live musician has to pay. So if the live musician has to pay, there should be proper dynamics, proper phrase markings, phrase articulation marks. So straight away try to do this. Here I have not. Just have I have marked the dynamics and left only phrasing I have done. In future videos I'll show how to there is one video in YouTube saying Atishay Jain Quintet. In that you can see. In YouTube I have got that. In that video I have used maximum number of quintets. Okay, sorry, not quintets. The maximum number of articulations and phrasing marks. All those things I have done. So there your music comes to life when you do that. Okay, see, this staccato I have used. I have changed the dynamic here. See, staccato. The violin one is playing the staccato, and the alto in the alto clef it's playing the normal arco. See here, this is accented. See this kind of I'm telling. It's kind of not the hard and fast rule, but you have to try for yourself and get it. Okay, I think I went very much too much in this explanation. So coming back to our rules, where am I? Okay. I was in the 11th point. Now the 12th formula is try to have same chord note in the consecutive harmony voices to have the suspension, making it preparation, suspension and resolution. What does it mean? What does it mean? It says if there is an instance, and if you want to change the chord, if you want to change chord from, say for instance, from you're changing from F major to C major. So F major has also got C, C major has also got C. So whatever voice you are having C, maybe irrespective of soprano, alto, tenor, bass, you're try to have the chord notes similar to the next voice also, so that it's called suspension. You got so much of 9/8, 7/8, so much of different suspension, which I may do it in future video. So that is called suspension. So very simple, I'll tell. When you're changing one harmony note voices to one more, the next chord, if any of the note is similar to the next chord, try to have the same voice, same note in the next chord itself. So for that you can have any inversion, maybe first inversion, second inversion. So this is the point, 12th point. The 13th point, always harmonize in such a way that SATB remains in respective voice range. Of course, in first year harmony William Lovelock book you have got ranges, and in Google also you can see what is the ranges there. Every voice has got a range: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. So you should write the harmony in such a way that it should remain in those range only. Okay, that is the 13th point. 14th point is an extra point. There is something called texture. You got about 8 different textures. I have not mentioned fully here. There is homophonic, monophonic, chordal, contrapuntal, polyrhythmic, polythematic, omni. There is 8 different textures which you can use. There is one catch. When are you going to, after following all these 13 good points, once your full SATB structure is ready for the melody, along with the accent, along with the groove, the next thing what you are doing is you are transferring that 4-part to the orchestra, full orchestra. See, all string family, choir family, woodwinds family, string family, brass family, every family has got soprano range instrument, alto range instrument, tenor range instruments, and bass range instruments. So you can just straight away transfer these 4-part into those, and with the accents and varied creativity of yours, you can get a very good lush orchestration and what not. You can get many things, and how to improve means keep on doing. The more you do, the more you get it. So this is the 14th point. When you do that, when you're transferring your 4-part, which is having all these 13 good points without violating any of this point, transferring to the full orchestra, you can consider having 8 different orchestral textures, which I am going to definitely do all 8 textures in my future videos. Those are homophonic, monophonic, chordal texture, contrapuntal texture, polyrhythmic, polythematic. Here some 8 textures are there. There is one book also for that. I'll do the detailed video about this texture in future. So this is just remember it as a rule now. When you're studying, just you can go into deep. As I said, I'm going to do different videos for all these 14 rules. I'm going to do different videos. I'll go very deep into this. 8 textures need a different videos, and there is one more called as hybrid texture. What is hybrid texture? You have to basically mix. There is one chordal and monophonic. You can mix chordal and monophonic and make it as a different texture. That is called a hybrid texture. You can mix polyrhythmic with contrapuntal. You can mix chordal with contrapuntal. You can mix homophonic with contrapuntal. Anything can be done out of this. Any permutation combination can be done. Okay, I'll do it in next way. So just remember the 14th point is, once all the above rules is met, try to transfer it to the full orchestra by considering 8 different available orchestral colors. That is the textures. I mean, okay. That is textures. And the very important, the last rule, of course, I've done a very long video, 24 minutes, telling all the rules and formulas. But there is a concept called artistic interpretation. What do you mean by artistic interpretation? Remember that music is ultimately an art form, okay? And the rules are meant to guide rather than restrict creativity. Of course, if you if I've said this all rules, it doesn't mean that you have to follow it very strictly. Sometimes you may end up having a pakka a melody and the harmony with a without violating any rules, but a boring orchestration. So it's you have to just consider this. It is a proven technique, but it doesn't mean that you have to strictly follow. And sometimes feel free to experiment and trust your musical intuition, as sometimes breaking the rules can lead to unique and engaging harmonization. So this is, as of now, as of my knowledge. I may update this video also, and you can definitely debate in comments if you are having any any, if I'm wrong in any point. You can, because music is such a big library. Music is such a god in my way. Music is definitely god, because you can't master it in one life. You have to be studying and learning and unlearning, learning and unlearning. What do you mean by unlearning? Unlearning means you have learned something. After 3 months you learn something which the knowledge gets updated. Oh, it was not like this, it was like this, but these few points has to be ionized, and you have to polish and update few things. You have to go even deeper. So that's like till your death you have to do that. That's the music. That's music. That's the power of music. You can't master it, and you can't read it and finish it off. You will never do that. You can never do that. So as of my knowledge, in 7th April 2024, I feel this is the best 15 rules to consider to write 4-part harmony for any given melodies. You give me any Indian raga based, any Chinese based, any R&B, any rap music, whatever. You're doing synthesis also, these rules can be followed, because of course it's note. No, you're doing synthesis also, there is a musical note in it. So following these rules in that also, it will help the exact voice leading and the orchestration techniques. So I think this is a very long video, and I'll just paste this in the comment section also. I'll just pin this. So any doubts or any debate and any thing, if I'm going wrong, you can teach me also, and we can debate on that topic. And in future, if I get updated with any of this knowledge, I'll definitely do one more video, and I have an interest to do separate videos, different 15 rules, and these 15 rules may get higher as I'm studying. This becomes 20, this may become 25, but as of now, as of 7th April, 15 rules is the most important what I'm feeling. I'm studying the first year harmony book by William Lovelock, and I'm using ChatGPT also to recheck many things to modern orchestrations and many things. So thank you so much. Signing off, Atishay Jain, composer, singer, orchestrator. So catch you in future video. Thank you so much. Happy orchestrating. Bye.